Thanks for listening to the Happy Hour Podcast. If you'd like to learn more, visit us online at www.happyhourpodcast.org.
And you're welcome.
Hey guys, Shannon here. I am so excited to introduce my friend Jenny on the podcast today. We talk about owning a small business and the real challenges to doing so. You know, a lot of times you'll hear a podcast or a book or maybe even on social media talk about if you believe it, it will happen. If you have a good vision board and you say enough affirmations, like it will happen and it will be easy and it'll be awesome. And maybe that's the case for a very, very small amount of people who go into a small business. However, I don't know that there's enough out there that talks about the real day-to-day struggles and challenges, and my friend Jenny and I are going to share that with you. Jenny Fuller is a wife, a mom, a studio owner, and she has many other hats. She owns an incredible fitness studio up in Dallas, Texas, and I'd love for you to welcome her to the show. Hey guys, welcome to the Happy Hour Podcast. This is Shannon, and I am uber excited to have my amazing friend Jenny on this podcast today. And Jenny is from Dallas. I did a little intro about her already at the beginning, but welcome, Jenny.
Hello. Thank you, Shannon, for having me. I'm very excited.
I am so excited that you are here. In the intro, I already talked about you being a really good friend of mine, and that how long has it been that we've known each other? It's been at least 10 years, right?
Yeah, CrossFit days. So Harper was little, so like 2011 or maybe even earlier than that, Shannon.
I know. Gosh, it's crazy. And since then, we both have done so many massive changes in our lives.
Yeah, you left me and moved to California.
I did. I left Dallas, moved to California for a hot minute and decided that wasn't going to work. And then came back and picked a different area to live in that I absolutely love. And you went and opened an incredible business.
Yes. So in 2000, I started teaching yoga in 2011, right when my daughter was born. And then I stayed at one studio for years and years and years, and then decided during COVID that I could do it a mile and a half away from her.
And you opened an amazing studio.
Thank you.
So it's called Karma. And just tell us what Karma offers.
Okay, so it is called Karma. And the reason it is called Karma is honestly, it's changing its meaning, because I opened in 2021 and went through a divorce, literally told the girl I was teaching for 10 years daily that I was going to move away for, open up my own a mile and a half. And those were all like, that's why I called it Karma, was look what I get to give. But now being 2 full years in, Karma means a whole different meaning to me. It means like, sometimes I wish I could call the studio owner that I left and be like, how in the hell did you do this? Because I need help. I need guidance, and I probably will, to be honest. I'm thinking around Christmas, I do want to call her because she moved states away. And I'm like, maybe you're smart. Maybe you knew something I didn't know. But anyway, it is I did CrossFit for years, and then I would always teach yoga or do yoga in the heat. So I was always like, why do we not have a one-stop shop? Meaning like go into one place and then you can either choose, you can do your weights or you can choose to do infrared heat. So I built that. I thought it was going to be an issue, like with the wall and the sound and all that freaked me out. That's not an issue at all. There are issues, but that's not an issue. I have like the best flooring you can get for your joints. I have the state-of-the-art infrared panels that are truly healing from the inside out. And then we bring weights in the infrared room and people are loving that. And then I hooked up with an amazing manager that literally programs, like, we did CrossFit. We kind of have, I don't call it CrossFit because I don't have anything over 100 pounds, but I do call it like cross-functional training, meaning like at the age of 40, I don't want to go run and lift over 100 pounds over my head. And all of that scares me now. Like I'm mad at myself that I even did that. and we're working out smarter. And she's able to like program for the whole gym. We do the same class from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. and people's results are just insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've obviously been following you on social media, and everything about your studio and the classes that you offer, it just blows me away. So I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a journey.
Well, and that's what I want to talk about today is I feel like, Jenny, there's such a misconception out there for the people that show up, especially to small businesses, and just think, I could do this. You know, I could run a small business. I should just open up my own business. It'll be easier. I'll make more money. I'll have more flexibility in time. And I can't even get these words out without choking on them.
I know. You know what it is? I think, and I was the culprit of this, I think it's freaking Instagram. I swear to God, I don't know what it was, but I remember 2019 and 2020 were pivotal years for me as far as like, I went to masterminds and I did this whole self-discovery thing, and all of them were like, you can do it. You know, all the losers are not, you know, they're working for people, and you got like literally, I didn't know anything about business, Shannon. I went to Texas Tech, got my special education degree, taught education to autistic and Down syndrome kids. And then I taught yoga. So it's like, wait, what's a PML? I don't know anything. And I literally, the podcast and Instagram taught me. And I'm still like, it's a journey every damn day. I'm still learning. And I don't know if I would have done it different, because I do feel like God puts you, I do think that I am on the right track with karma and God aligning you there. I don't think it's my forever though. Like I know.
No, I get that. And as small business owners, I think that, you know, especially when we're in the heat of it, it feels like, is this where I'm supposed to be? Yeah. But I want to talk about the challenges and the misconceptions, because like you just said, and I think that's such a good point, social media makes it look like we can do anything. Yeah. You're a great dance teacher, so open a dance studio. Yeah. You're a great artist, so open an art studio. You're a great whatever, so open up a business in that genre or specialty. Right. And there's so fucking much more to it than that. First of all, I feel like people don't understand, when you open a business, you first of all need to be prepared that for the first 1 to 3 years, you don't get a check.
Yeah. Well, no one told me that. They didn't tell me that on my podcast.
I would have told you that. Yeah. You don't get a check those first 1 to 3 years at all. It is a very, very rare occurrence that a business owner of a small business that first starts out actually gets to put any money in their pocket, especially the first year. But usually it could last all the way up to 3 years. Mm. So that's the first thing. The other thing that they don't tell you is that, yeah, you're going to have more hours. It's called 24 of them that you're going to work.
Yeah. Like, people ask me that, Shannon. They're like, how many hours do you work? I'm like, oh, that's such a damn funny question. I mean, do you really want to know?
It's literally 24 hours. Yes. Because you think about business in your sleep. You're at your business, yes, you know, 14, 16 hours a day. You're showing up 7 days a week. Even if you, Jenny, don't physically show up to your studio 7 days a week, I guarantee you're working on your business 7 days a week in some capacity. Yeah. And so that's the other thing. So first of all, you're not collecting money. Second of all, you're going to work even more hours. And third, they just do not realize how many obstacles and how many challenges that you face on a daily basis, from financials, right? The financial challenges of, oh my God, toilet paper fucking adds up, you know, whatever, whatever may be the case, it adds up. So true. Payroll. And then that's the other thing they don't talk about. Unless you are running a business where you are literally the only person that can do the bit, you're like you are the business. That, which is not, you know, that's kind of a rare thing unless you're like a digital person online or whatever may be the case. But if you've got a brick and mortar business, you more than likely have at least one employee, if not more. Yep. And so managing those personalities, managing, you know, inter-office, we'll call it, communications, and making sure that people are getting along and making sure people feel respected, but also that they are trustworthy, and that, you know, there's just all of those dynamics. Totally. Yeah. On top of it, Shannon. Yeah. And so those are the challenges that I don't think people, truly recognize. I think, and you and I, before we started hitting record, we said, at some point in our life, we were those people that didn't recognize.
You're right. And that is where there is a definite disconnect because, and maybe God wanted me to do this because so I can tell people.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like that's the thing about, I guess I am an entrepreneur because I did make up the idea of my studio, but there's no like step A, step B, step C. It's literally messing up, doing it again, and praying to God it works,
Yes.
daily.
Yes. And then not being able to eat or sleep because you're worried that something's wrong or something did go wrong, or we want to make sure our employees are paid even if we don't ever get paid.
Right.
And what that looks like. And then you get random ass catastrophes like COVID. Of course, you opened during COVID and so did I. But for those businesses who were already in place and who were depending upon, that income at that time, or you and I just talked about, we just had one of the roughest summers ever as small businesses. And it wasn't just my industry, your industry hurt. A lot of the industry in Texas, specifically in the summer for small businesses, hurt. And we can guess on a few things. We had like record triple digits over and over again. Nobody wanted to either leave their house, or if they wanted to leave their house, they were finally feeling comfortable to jump on an airplane and fly to Europe or fly out of the state of Texas to go travel and visit the things that they didn't get to do for the last few years. So you've got this random ass, crazy summer. And those are the types of things that you think you could prepare for, but can you?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. But I know this summer, I am not the only one to say that. But like even I was talking to a med spa owner and she's like, oh yeah, this summer kicked my butt. And I'm like, I know. So it makes me feel a little bit, it doesn't matter who's with you because you already feel like you're alone on an island anyway. But I guess it makes me feel a little bit better. It's like, it's not your fault that you were suffering this summer,
Yes. No, I do. I know, totally. And I'm glad you talk about feeling alone because I don't know if a lot of people would understand even what we mean when we say that, because, if they look at our social medias or, they just do the random, how are you? It's always, we're fine. It's good. Everything's good. And, but you feel very alone when you are running a small business and you are trying to get it. I would even imagine whether you're just starting or you've been doing it for a long time and you're very successful, you still have this kind of aloneness feeling.
Yeah, I think that's, and I'm truly, the only way I'm alone is if like I'm in the office right now and that's like during the day. Otherwise, when I go up there, that is full on, put your game face on. You have to be on 24/7 if you're up there. Whereas, so I don't feel alone when I'm at work, but very alone when I'm like I just did a newsletter and I've never done one before and there's no one to ask. And I just freaking figure it out. It might take me weeks, but I'm learning on my own. And there is something to say for that. I will say, like, it is pretty cool. Like once you do something you've never done before and you figured it out on your freaking own, it's a cool ownership thing. And it feels like, oh, what else can I do? So I do get a high from that. It's very rare, but I do.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that because there is that, we may feel alone at times, especially when we're working on things behind the scenes that we can't go to our staff for, it's just not an appropriate thing to do, whatever that may be. And you don't know who you can turn to sometimes, who can you feel comfortable enough to share this struggle or to share this need or to share what you're experiencing and what you're feeling, because you don't want your customers or your staff to worry, but at the same time, when you do overcome a challenge or an obstacle or you figure something out and it works out, you're like, holy shit, I did that.
Yeah. And that's a pretty cool feeling. So I'm just getting into that, I will say, because there's so much that I've got to do on my own now. And I mean, like making flyers, Shannon, and like reaching out to newspapers and, magazines and all that. It's on me now. So it's like, it won't happen if it's not me doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a few things I want to touch on. One, the being alone. I'm wondering too. So one of the things that I found as a really great resource is to really create relationships with other local business owners that are maybe not the same exact genre, but same sort of level, maybe complementary. Like for me, I feel like I've cultivated good relationships with people who own, breweries or restaurants or
Right.
something that I can even send business their way and vice versa, but that we can talk about the challenges together. So I think that's super important if you are in a business or you are thinking about going into business, is that you create a community network of other business owners
Yeah.
in similar playing fields, we'll call it. Obviously, it wouldn't do as much good if you were like connecting with the owner of Walmart. They're just two
Right.
totally different fields, two different playgrounds. So I think that's one thing to consider when you're talking about business, small businesses and stuff like that. And then to find the celebrations, because sometimes you get stuck in the muck of it. I mean,
Yeah.
you're stuck in the muck of it. I got to get payroll. I've got to pay this loan. I've got to order this shit. We're out of toilet paper. We're this, we're that. And it just
Yeah.
goes, on and on and on. But then something really great happens, or you get a great email from a customer or whatever may be the case, or your employee's feeling really great and is excited about working for you. And to celebrate those wins when they happen, really like to really genuinely pause and take that in, versus just taking it in stride, because otherwise you can feel really beat down, because you will definitely know when shit's not going well.
No, I would say like before 5 a.m., I have to put out fires. Yeah. So you will definitely, you are the first person that over, 25 people will contact. So that's the hard part too. Like I'm not used, you got to remember, I'm not a business owner. I'm not in business ever my whole entire life. So I'm always like, okay, let's tell someone else to handle it. It's not me. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot of pressure that like if the bathroom's leaking, like the other day, our shower went out in the men's bathroom. So it's like, who can I call? I got no one. So I get it. It's more, but I will say once you fix the problem, then you go on to the next problem, really. But it is satisfying, to be able to be the person to fix stuff, I guess. Like I have to turn it around in my head.
Hey, it's Shannon here. Do you want to know my number one secret to feeling good, including helping to ease my anxiety and stress? Yoga. I know, don't roll your eyes. But seriously, one of the best things I did for myself over a decade ago was delve deep into the rich yoga philosophy, history, and practices, which provided some incredible tools for healthy living, as well as inviting so much peace and joy into my life. And at the time, I had no intention of teaching yoga. I did it purely for me, to find love and acceptance of myself and the world around me, and I did. Of course, the training can also help if you want to then share the gift of yoga with others. All that to say, did you know that we now offer a yoga teacher training, including a 100% online option so that you can go completely at your own pace? Our online platform is bursting with so many incredible resources, including videos, workbooks, templates, and more. Plus, we have optional weekly live sessions and the ability to add on a 4-day in-person retreat right here at the ranch. Not to mention, you get access to the content for life, including our graduates who get to continue to attend the live sessions if they want to get CE credits too. So with affordable pricing, a convenient monthly payment option if you like, and the ability to go at your own pace, this is seriously the perfect time to join a community of incredible support, love, and learning. I did it for me, and I'd love to see you do it for you. To find out more, visit mindbodycomplete.com, then click trainings right at the top. Yeah. I would say for anyone who might be listening and they're thinking about going into a business, of course, it totally depends on the business. It depends on whether it's brick and mortar or online and all those different variations. I think Jenny and I are mostly speaking of brick and mortar businesses at this point. Jenny, I'd like to tell someone this pretty platitude that would show on Instagram, which is do your research, create relationships and, whatever. But the truth is you won't, nothing, no class, no Instagram, no podcast, no book, not even a connection is going to prepare you more than what the job itself is going to do. Like once you're in it.
Yep.
you know, and you're just going to have to be okay with making mistakes. Like you just have to be okay with things going fucking wrong, because they are absolutely going to go wrong at some point. And you have to be okay with that and be okay with learning through that.
Yeah.
You have to be okay with not collecting money for a while. You have to be okay with working a lot of hours, and you have to be okay with learning as you go. And I think if you can handle those three things, you'll be fine eventually.
Yeah, because it will take a toll on you until you learn it all.
Yeah.
Because I swear, it's like never the same problem. It's like always something. And someone told, or maybe I heard it on a podcast, but they were like, what do you mean you don't have an issue? Like business is issue. Like that's what business means. So, and then there was another podcast I thought was interesting. They said, there's a difference between self-employed and then a business owner. So like if you're like I'm a business owner is what I call myself, but I'm also freaking self-employed. Like I'm doing it all. So I guess you can't really call yourself just a business owner. Like there's two different things. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, your business that you own is also paying you as a self-employed person.
Yeah.
Maybe
like one day.
Maybe. Because I opened officially, our ranch opened in June of 2020, I think is what it was. And so I haven't even hit, or I just hit my 2 years, right? Am I adding that up right? Or was it 2021? I know I've been open for a year and a half. So was it 2021, Jenny?
2021.
2020,
nothing was going on.
No, actually, you're right. I did not open in 2020. I was still building. I can get this right. The COVID has jacked up my time.
We kind of went the same timeline though, because I built all of 2020 and then opened it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So I opened June of 2021. So we just hit, I think, around a year and a half. We're at a year and a half, and we haven't even come close to being able to pay ourselves. And I don't think people. I think we talked about this, but there's this misconception that, oh, wow, you've got all these, like for you, you've got all these members showing up, or for us, we've got all these bookings, and it's like, they must be making a killing. And I'll never forget, our good friends used to own the Pump It Up in Frisco. Pump It Up is that indoor inflatable party place. And I'm talking about in Frisco, Texas. And our good friends used to own it. And I remember telling them, man, you guys must print money. And I'll never forget, they said, yeah, we do. We have a print fucking machine in our stockroom because we don't make enough. So we have to print that shit ourselves.
And let me touch on that, because that is such a huge, I will say, people tell me, you don't need any more clients. Like, there's no way. I'm not going to tell people about Karma because y'all are full and packed. I'm like, hold the fuck on. Just because, prime time slots may be waitlisted. Like, do you understand? It's a full time. Like, do you know my rent? Do you know my payroll? Do you know anything that I have to fill up all the other classes? You're seeing 1 hour a day, Yeah. And that's the most frustrating part is, you're right. Everyone thinks you're a millionaire, that you make a shitload of money, and that you're not paying them what everyone's entitled. They want to get paid more. And that's like the biggest misconception is, hell yeah, I need more clients. Every business wants more clients.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're exactly right. There is a huge misconception. And it's hard, I think, and Jenny, you tell me if this is you, it's hard sometimes not to get a little bent when that conversation happens. Cause it's like, you have no idea what went into building this place. You have no idea how much money it took to build it. You have no idea how much money it takes to maintain it, or all these different moving parts. And there's the small, shallow part of me that goes, you go open a fucking business, and then I'll come see you in 6 months to a year, and we'll talk about it. Yeah, no, Shannon, I'm there. What I want to do is like sit down with the whiteboard and just talk to people and be like, this is what I have to pay. This is what's coming in, but that's the new Jenny too. I've never even done any of this until this year, and I'm learning a lot about business that way. Yeah. I don't think that there's anything wrong with sharing with your team, kind of where you're trending or where you want to go and all that kind of stuff. But I will say sometimes it's a waste of time to get into, here's how much it costs us to run the business, and here's how much that we're bringing in. And because most of the time, I'm just going to be honest, most employees, for them, they're like, I'm here, I'm doing
I
a
love
job,
it.
just pay me what we talked about.
Uh-huh.
That's not across the board. Please understand. I know that there's some employees that feel very vested in the success of a business, and just, wanting to do their best and wanting the business to succeed. But I think more often than not, you'll get someone who's like, I don't give a shit what your problems are behind the scenes. Just make sure that I get paid, and I might even want to get paid more. And
Yeah.
so it gets a little tricky to try to create an understanding, I think, because even still, there's the lack of empathy probably on their part going, none of that matters. None of that matters.
Right. I
You
know.
know?
It's all a very big learning curve for me. And I guess I didn't care either what I
Yeah.
would say, Shannon? I would be like, well, you shouldn't have opened up a business.
Yes. And talk about karma for both of
I
us,
know.
or for anyone who goes into a business thinking that it's going to be easy, and that you could do it better than so and so that you maybe know or don't know, or whatever may be the case. And so I totally agree. It's just a lack of education. I feel like it's an ignorance level there, that we had before we opened a business, and
Yeah.
then those who don't own a business would have, or at least didn't even, maybe someone grew up around a business, they might have a better appreciation. But if they've had no encounter with a small business being run, whether it's in their family or themselves, it's just an ignorance level. They just don't
It is.
realize, the taxes that are involved, the insurance that are involved, all the behind the scenes things that are involved, and that's all financial. But really, Jenny, and that part can be really, really hard and stressful. But it's the whole operation and the responsibility of having this business that can keep you up at night.
Nah, yeah. Or so stressed, Shannon. Like, I will say my body, when I get stressed, and people think this is a good thing, but it's not, I get real skinny. I'm just like my mom. That's my genetics.
Yeah,
And almost like in my brain, I'm like, hold on, I'm losing my muscle that I freaking worked hard for. So I don't like that look. I know some
yeah,
women would like that problem, but
yeah,
like I have women tell me this, like right after I would teach a class, oh, I'm worried about you. You're so thin. And I want
yeah,
to be like, yeah, it's the stress of the business, but also kick me when I'm down, like
yeah,
when I hear that, I'm like, just slap me and put me in a freaking trunk, like just put me down. So other people need to know, like, maybe I look confident, maybe I look like I know what the hell I'm doing. I mean, you don't know what I do behind closed doors, like
yeah,
it is so hard. You lose friendships, you lose,
yeah,
like, I don't even right now, I will say it's been the hardest year up at Karma for me.
yeah,
Just with friendships, and
yeah,
you don't have time for people, and people don't understand that, and then
yeah.
you got to tell your family you got to work at night and you can't make dinner, and a lot of it is very, and that's stress. And for me, I lose weight, I still eat, but that's how my body handles it, which is not healthy.
Right.
Hey guys, it's Shannon. I'm just going to interrupt for just a second to ask you for a big favor. Will you pause right now and go leave us a review if you haven't already? Or if you're not subscribed, maybe click that little plus button. We are so appreciative.
Right. No, but it's true. And I'm sure different people, their body handles it differently depending. Maybe
Right.
some people gain weight, maybe some people get sick, physically sick. Stress is the number one killer, period, of people.
Yeah.
It's the number one cause of heart disease. It's the number one cause of many, many, many symptoms and physical issues that people have. And so there's no doubt about it. And I hate the fact that we have to spend this time to talk about all these challenges. But I feel like it's important because I don't think it is talked about enough. I think people get on podcasts and they get on books and they do these things and they talk about, you can do it. Just like you said, you can do it. It's easy. You could do
Yeah.
anything if you believe hard enough, if you motivate, if you say affirmations, if you
Oh,
do
I
a vision
believe.
board.
I totally thought I was high on life and I was gonna, and I don't want to tell people not to do it because it is cool, like literally waking up and you get to dictate your day. You get to, you literally, I don't feel like anyone's telling me what to do. That part is nice. I don't know if I could go back to anyone telling me what to do. I'll tell you that. Like, I can already tell you I'm not going to listen to them, because I finally feel like I've stepped into my self-worth, I guess. Like, I'm just listening to Jenny, and that feels damn good. I will say that that's just now happening.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I would say that is the best part of ownership is the boost in self-development, self-awareness, and growing and learning, even through the failures and the challenges and the issues, is you're creating this whole new you while you're doing it. I would actually say that's probably the number one and only benefit. Don't get me wrong. I think every small business has the potential to be very successful. And that, of course, is another benefit.
Right.
But it is a lot of work. And it is a constant. It's not like you get to a certain point and then you can just relax. There's no such thing as a small business owner, zero. And you also cannot just hand it over to teammates. You found that out the hard way. I've done that myself too, where if you just hand it off and you try to step out of the business as a small business owner, that doesn't work. I used to own a chain of children's art studios up in Dallas, and I sold them. And the person that bought the chain, they thought that they could just let the management staff who was there run it. And within, I don't know, a year and a half, and I had it open for 6 years, doing very well. I think it was within a year and a half, it had to close because they just decided they could be hands off. As a small business owner, I don't believe that. I don't think you can ever be hands off of your business. If you want to be hands off, it's time to sell it. It's time to hand it down to somebody else. And so that's the mindset that you have to have going into this, you are going to own this business. You are going to own it in the literal sense, not just on paper, but you are going to own every aspect of it. You're going to be involved in every aspect of it, period. That is just how it's going to go. That doesn't mean you can't have management staff. It doesn't mean you can't have day-to-day things that are taken care of by other people. But if you are not there to make sure and to be there for them as a resource and to be involved in it, people will stop caring because they'll think you don't care.
And I think I screwed up my first, you go back and you're like, what did I do? And I very big, and if you have an ego, then I think you are screwed as a business owner, because like you want to blame and you waste your time blaming. I really try not to do that. I really try to take ownership in everything that I have done wrong. And there's a shitload I've done wrong. I will say my first year of opening, I did a lot wrong. And it's humbling when you can like see clearly, this is what you did wrong, and this is what you're not going to go do again. That's how you learn from your mistakes. So I do feel like I can like repair. But the people I've been around business owners where they're just like, that was her fault, that was his fault, that's where you're going to lose, I feel like, because you can never win that way if you don't take ownership of what's going on.
I agree. Even if one of your employees does something wrong, that buck still stops with you.
Yeah.
You still have to own that. There could be so many reasons why they did it wrong. One, because they were trained wrong. One, because they were never really shown exactly how it should be done, or they tried to take initiative, and whatever. There's so many different reasons, but the buck always stops with you.
Yep.
And so I couldn't agree more about the ego and just, owning it. So I feel like we've talked a lot about what you have to prepare yourself for. I hope we've educated some people on the realities, I think, of owning a small business. But there is, like you said, there is the good stuff. And I don't want to, like you said, I don't want anybody to feel like they shouldn't own a small business, but I do feel like you should cautiously understand that it is not sunshine and rainbows. That you will experience sunshine and rainbows. You have to look for it. You have to celebrate it. You have to be intentional about it. But it is hard fucking work. It's a lot of work. At least if you care, it's a lot of work. Because I'll say that, just like you said, there's other small business owners I have met too who just could give a shit, and that's a whole different thing. And that's not who we're talking to anyway.
Yeah.
But if you care, it will be hard. It will be consuming, and it will not be financially rewarding for a while.
Right. For a while.
So if you are okay with all of that, I think you should go for it.
Yes. Totally agree with you.
Jenny, it was so fun talking to you again. I know that your business is going to continue to skyrocket, and I'm so glad that you are learning along the way, and we are here for each other, girl.
Thank you, Shannon. I know I appreciate you, and I'm glad that I have you as you're probably like the only mentor I have that has like done the business, and I can truly like just talk to you about real things. I don't really do that to anybody else, so I appreciate you.
Oh, I adore you, Jenny. We're here for each other, girl.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks for listening to the Happy Hour Podcast. If you'd like to learn more, visit us online at www.happyhourpodcast.org.
And you're welcome.